Okay, this is going to be a little bit different content. We are going to go on a little trip, see if we can find some parts in the junkyard. So first thing I'm going to do is hop in the back, show you the tools that I keep in the back of the car, and show you what they are and why I carry them in the junkyard. And then we're going to walk back there and see if we can find any parts on the car that I'm planning on going to look at. So let's go take a look at the back. Okay, going to the junkyard, you need tools. Let's see what we got. This is the junk that stays in the car all the time. Need that, and we'll need that. Okay, so this is your random assortment of sockets. And you can tell that this one was given to me by my brother-in-law who hates me, because I have written on it, bottom, top. When you open it, if you got it the wrong way, all that stuff all gonna go everywhere. See how stuff's already falling out? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that your brother-in-law gives you when he hates you. Now you'll notice what's missing. The 10mm. Okay, so you need your random sockets except for the one that you need the most. Label it, turn it over wrong. You need one of these things. It's got all the oddball stuff, all those Torx bits and all that strange stuff that nothing fits. You need your long nose short circuit machines. You need one of these here Phillips bit beer can openers. You need one of these here flat bit paint can openers. You need a hammer. An assorted screwdriver that's never got the right bit. You need a Swedish nut lathe. An assortment of all the wrenches that are not going to fit. You need a plumber's nut lathe and a finger finder. Once you got all that stuff, put it all back in the baggie, along with your little shorty things that don't work right, and that's your precision device right there for hitting small things. And oh yeah, get some pansy mittens there to keep your girly little hands ready for counting all your money. That's the stuff you need if you're going to go junkyard. Put it all in your $3 Chinesian bag, and you're good to go. Okay, boys and girls, believe it or not, this is the victim for today. This is a Volvo 240. Now, when you're looking for junkyard cars, you need to be aware of stuff that might be unusual or aftermarket for your own car. In this case, this car is all stock under the hood. It's got just the regular 4-cylinder. It's not a turbo car. It's got an aftermarket radiator in it because it's aluminum with a plastic tank. That's not the stock kind. When you look down in here, I know on these cars the aftermarket springs are a different color. They'd be blue or red, but this one has stock springs, so it doesn't have any lowering springs on it. And you can look down there, the sway bar is black, so it's also stock. Now this car has an ABS pump on it, so can't really use any of that, but it does have an aftermarket coil, so I'm going to grab that. That might be something I can use on one of my hot rod project cars. Now these cars, I also know to look for good headlights. These are junk. It's got a black frame. Now, that's really unusual on one of these. Doesn't see any fog lights down below. And if you look inside this garbage, it's very stock. It has an aftermarket head unit. Who cares? It doesn't have an armrest, so that's anything to look at. No interesting switches. It does have the lower cubby, which is kind of nice. Doesn't have a tachometer. It's got the clock over there, and they never work. They're junk. No headrest inserts. The seats are actually could be taken apart and cleaned, and the foam on these is really good. These like to rot out right here particularly, but the foam's good on these if somebody wanted to get some seats off of it. I don't see any factory floor mats or anything interesting like that. This one doesn't have a sunroof, so there's nothing interesting to get there. But if you come around back on this thing, I am going to get that. That pan right there is torn on my car under the bumper. So I'm going to get that. And also, this car has black side trim, which is really unusual. So that's worth taking off because somebody might want that. It also won't fit my wagon, but the black side trim would be interesting for somebody that has a turbo car or wants to make it look like a turbo car. Also, these door handles being black, that's kind of good. But as you can see, they've already got the Volvo garbageness. But no aftermarket wheels or no factory aluminum wheels. Actually, that piece of trim's kind of broken. And if we look at the side mirrors, they're manual mirrors, so they're not worth taking. So on this one, if you know what you're looking for, you sometimes can find interesting parts and pieces off of them. There's an aftermarket radio bezel. There's the keys to the car, which who cares? But if you know what you're looking for, sometimes you can find interesting stuff. Sometimes there's hot rodded parts, aftermarket parts in the project car that you're working on. Now, since my car's a wagon, hardly any of this stuff's going to interchange, but I'm going to pick it over as best I can, see if I can get some stuff off of it. Okay, you'll have to pardon me for being out of breath, but it is some kind of hot out here today. In the last video, you heard me talking about Saturns being good parts cars. Well, here's what I'm talking about. These cup holders literally just pull right out, and they're really good. You can cut any kind of console and fit that in there. They're cheap. And then these 12-volt outlets, they're easy to get out from the back, right behind here. Just reach around and unscrew it. That's really a piece of cake. Now this one's a 4-door, but in 2 doors. Back here there's a console, and that's what I've got in the back of the black Camaro. It works really good. Now, I've never hid that I'm a fan of these old brick station wagons. These Volvos are pretty cool. But you ever wonder what happens when you don't get your title back from Title Max? Yeah, they part that junk out. You don't need a title. Now, this has one of those old 5-cylinder engines in it. That could be pretty cool and a really straight rod with a little creativity. Now, these are uglier than homemade sin, and so's the car. But every now and then you can trip into a set of aftermarket wheels in the junkyard. This one's got all 4 of them on it. They're ugly and they're the wrong bolt pattern, front wheel drive, but if you keep your eye out and be creative, you can find some good wheels and tires out here. Well, at least wheels. Alright, so this is how we did. I went ahead and bought that valance pan. It's gonna need some work. Let me hit that tripod about 15 more times. I bought that valance pan. See if I still got a shot here. Line it back up. Went ahead and bought that fancy super stock coil. I don't know. I use it on something. Maybe. Like the tracker. Anyway. And these are the mud flaps that go with the valance pan. And somewhere around here. Oh, here they are. These are the little brushy comb thingies that go inside the shifter mechanism. These are in much nicer condition than what's on the car. So I got all that. I think I spent like 30 bucks. It's a good day. Good day at the junkyard. Pouring sweat. Time for a shower and a nice libation and probably in a brown bag.